Greg, good to see you, man. Welcome to Popternative.
How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing really well. When you have a show like this that has so many kind of elements at play, where the conspiracy theory component, the fact that there's journalists in this, and it kind of focuses on that, and the kind of the world's at risk. What is the element that kind of stands out the most, like for you, when you get the scripts for the first time?
Oh, yeah, I think when I first got the script, I think everyone can sort of relate to that sort of issue that we're all going through, which is like, what is the truth?
Yeah.
Like what is this government sharing accurate information? Is this government sharing the truth? And sometimes it comes down to a group of young heroes to sort of poke holes and try to investigate if that's being shared. And so that's what's so special about the collective is they're a group of young journalists who go and take matters into their own hands after a sudden tragedy, and try and expose the corruption.
Was there specific journalist research that you did for this project, or was it more kind of just conversations about it?
Well, no, I mean there was definitely research because Bellingcat are a real group.
Yeah.
And so thankfully we had their history and sort of their dynamics to sort of use for our own
Yeah.
performance and sort of group dynamic. But then of course, as we spoke to our writer, our showrunner, we also learned a lot of information as to why she wrote the show, obviously character, background and breakdowns and stuff like that. So that was really helpful. But I would say a mixture of the two.
Absolutely. I have my filmmaker hat on, I guess, when I ask these questions because I started making things and I kind of see things like I watch things so much differently now, Greg, like after being on sets, like it's insane. So
Yeah.
like I'm wondering, so like we'll see some scenes in this series with you or like Natasha, and they're like 2 3 minute scenes, right? And then like for minute wise, and then it cuts to a next scene, right? But I know that there's a chance that those scenes might have taken you the whole day or like 2 days, and then you just see three. When that happens, do they feel like their own mini movie or mini project, those long scenes, or they overall feel like part of the big project?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially when you forget your lines, they definitely can take a few days. Um, but no, I mean that's part of it, right? I mean, if you think about it, and even an insert shot of a close up of, in the first episode, there's a close up of actually my real dad in my life. It's that sort of like a nod to my own dad. He was super chuffed to see himself. I think he should have been the actor, not me. But there was a close up of like just an insert shot, and that takes, 45 minutes to set up. So yeah, when
Mhm.
you're doing a 3-page scene and you've got to get a lot of coverage, you're doing it for the greater good. But I will say, as an actor, yeah, it's always a challenge because you spent 12 hours there, you've done the scene 50 times. How are you always trying to find, how do you keep it fresh whilst also keeping the continuity the exact same? It's always tough as an actor to do that. But I guess that's what experience and working with amazing actors like Natasha,
Yeah.
they bring your level up. So thankfully, I got to work with her.
The, path career wise of a storyteller is like going where the opportunities are, right? And getting in all these rooms. But it's like you have had an opportunity to like not only play different like characters, but like different worlds, different genres. Is that something that you like thought about early on in your storytelling acting career? Or is that kind of something that just happened?
I think it's a bit of both. I
Yep.
think on the one hand, I'm very aware of it
Yeah.
because I feel like as an actor, that's actually, not to toot my own horn, but I think it's actually one of my biggest strengths is the fact that next week I could go on a multicam set and I'd like to think do a decent job, and then I could go,
Yes.
go to Kenya and do a 1 hour drama.
Yep.
When it comes to that kind of show, and then obviously, you start doing features and you start doing
Hot air balloon
thrillers.
thrillers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
And for thrillers that I just did. So, yeah, I do. I love that about myself and my career, and also the opportunities that I've been given. So it's something that people always said to me, especially growing up, because the industry's changed so much. When I first started this, it was sort of like, do you want to do TV or do you want to do film? And
Yeah.
in my mind, it was always, well, I want to do both. Then the industry allowed and didn't frown upon, oh, doing both. And now,
Mhm.
you can go and sort of, you feel like you can make your own rules. And I've
Yeah.
always believed that if you're good enough you know, people always say, oh, well, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself. But I've always sort of believed that if you're good enough and you work hard enough, you can always get yourself out of it. And I think Bryan Cranston's like the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
You know, because I absolutely love that guy and I think his career is incredible. So if I could have a mixture of both of everything throughout my career, I'd be really happy.
No, absolutely. And, The Collective is like a thriller. And it's one of those things, too, where, like, I'm a big horror movie guy. There's a project that you've done that you probably know what I'm talking about that I really enjoyed. We're talking years ago. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Is it Don't Hang Up?
Absolutely. With Garrett Clayton. I love that movie. And I let me tell you something. Popternative, I want to be that guy that tells people about things that they're not know about because there's so much content out there. But I bring up that movie to so many people all the time and they watch it and they're like, damn, that was a good time. There was a cool twist. Like, I'm just saying, but you did that one a long time ago. But like, I enjoyed that one.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a crazy shoot. We were shooting that in London, and that was a whole
Yeah.
different experience. 6 weeks,
Mhm.
dark, tears, blood every single day, one location. You
Yeah.
know, that's not as fun to
No,
shoot.
no, no. But there's a question here in regards to the collective because it's like the thriller world, the horror world, the fans of that genre eat it all up. I'm wondering if you think about that when you kind of sign on to projects like that, knowing that there is a big appetite for a lot of things in the edge of your seat thriller horror movie kind of world right now, specifically.
For sure. I mean, look, I think some people like choose, you know, very strategically in their career.
Yep.
I'd like to think that, of course, you know, you think about it, but at the same time, you have to resonate with it. And I think that for me, why I resonated with this was because, you know, like I said, I think there's a lot of misinformation that's being spread online every
Yep.
single day. I think we all see it, we all get saddened by it, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, it creates tension amongst ourselves, you know. And I think people
Mhm.
have stopped being able to have a conversation. The algorithms are feeding certain information, and then everyone thinks that they're correct, and it's very tough to have a conversation.
Yeah. The
And
algorithms are feeding Wizards of Waverly Place TikToks that you probably can't like that you can't escape. You probably can't escape those.
no, no, you know, it's like one of those. That show gave me so much and opened so
Yeah.
many doors, and so anytime someone comments on it or mentions it or I see it pop up, it always
It
brings
was
it.
just a bit because I think it was just like it was a big character. It was a big storyline with Alex. It was just I think that's what it was, the timing of it too.
Yeah, of course, you know, of course. I think that I think throughout my career, I've always thankfully with you know I call him God,
Yeah.
but some people don't, and I've always felt like God has always sort of been on my side and just sort of blessed me with certain opportunities at the right time, and
Mhm.
obviously that was one of them.
Absolutely. Last question about the collective when people get a chance to watch it because we're talking about the release of this on Hulu. I can't wait for people to see it on Hulu in the United States. What are you hoping people get out of it when they get to the chance to watch it, takeaway wise?
I think I would like them to just, when they read information, make sure that they're verifying it
Yep.
and understanding that there could be two sides to a story. And also just enjoy this show. It's a
Yep.
good show. It's also, honestly, I'm most proud of it for all of my performances throughout my career.
Yep.
So I would like people to watch the show too,
Yeah,
for that
absolutely.
selfish reason.
No, absolutely. Greg, so great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much and congratulations. Really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Nice to chat.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.